But one thing though that was interesting about when that video came out, Monique responds to Will essentially, and in a Instagram post, she congratulates Will for apologizing and also suggests that Tyler Perry should do the same.
Oop.
Yeah, she also put some receipts of a recorded phone call with her and her husband, with Tyler Perry seemingly agreeing with the fact that Monique has been wronged.
Right.
Now I see a lot of people. I read a lot of comments on blogs and stuff like that, and just to get to see where the people's heads are at, and they saying, "Girl, now at this point."
I hate
Because
that.
do you feel like she was trying to take a moment away from that? Because it had nothing to do with you.
So, but it was more so about the principle. It was she
Okay.
used it as an example.
And then she used she used Tyler Perry though. Tyler Perry, if anything, I wouldn't have had an issue if you would have had another opportunity to take a stab at Lee Daniels, because that's the person that called you difficult. Tyler Perry was a bystander.
Right, but they echoed it.
He didn't say nothing. He didn't speak up. A lot of people didn't speak up around you. I mean, is everybody to blame now?
So with the Monique situation, I had this conversation before I got in my Lyft to get here. The reason Monique took the opportunity to say, you know what? That was beautiful. I wish that my other black brothers were as big as Will, to be able to sit there and let me tell you why this hurt me, what you did or what you didn't do, how it affected me, how by you not standing with me affected me, and for them to say, for that, I apologize and let's make it right. That is what Monique was using out of the Will and the Janet Hubert situation, especially because Janet Hubert was speaking to the very thing that happened to Monique.
Yeah.
Because of the words out of your mouth, I was blackballed and seen as difficult. It affected me and my family.
Okay.
So that's where Monique was coming from and saying.
I guess the reason why she brought up Tyler,
she brought up Tyler Perry because
got awarded for something.
Well, she brought up Tyler Perry because you've already acknowledged privately, or so you thought was privately, that it was wrong. When they were spreading it about me, saying I was difficult, and he acknowledged that he had a movie a role that he wanted to give her, but passed because of what Lee Daniels said. Because Lee Daniels said she was difficult. He knew that to not be true. And when he found out why Lee Daniels considered her difficult, because you wanted Monique to do something that she was not contractually obligated to do, and she told you no. Tyler said that it wasn't fair. So Monique's thing was, well, if it's not fair, if you don't feel that it's fair, why didn't you speak up? Everybody can comment on everything else.
Was this before the studios? Because at this point, he could say whatever he wants now.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he could have said whatever he wanted to then, but people always have the choice. You always have the choice.
You always have a choice, but...
You always have the choice to do what's right. There's no but. You always have the choice to do what's right. And so that's where the issue came in between her and Steve Harvey, because Steve Harvey was trying to tell her how she should go about.
Yeah, you jump. If they tell you to jump, you tell them how high. That's
right.
Basically the whole.
And then told her how to move with integrity.
And now he backtracked when he was asked about it.
Yeah, he said he used the wrong word, but in reality, you were telling this sister, do what they say, play the game and win. Me, I'm all about the game. If I can't play the game to win, then maybe we should change the rules. I get it. Now, mind you, I don't like it when it's dealing with governing people.
Right.
I ain't like our current government does. Like, fuck the rules. We just gonna do what the fuck we want to do. But when it comes to positioning yourself, especially in a business that requires so much from Black people, it requires so much from us. We're supposed to be in a position where we can demand more because we know that we bring the talent.
Yeah.
And I know that I can sell it. I know I can. So you need to pay me. The problem is that the people who hold the purse, they don't always feel the same. So the more black people you have now who are able to have control over those purse strings, those are the people that are supposed to be opening the doors and advocating for people like Monique, not being the people obstructing them. That's the issue. That is the issue. You have the power and the money and the stuff now. You're supposed to be advocating for people like me, Steve Harvey. You're supposed to be advocating for people like me, Tyler Perry. Sister, you're supposed to be advocating for people like me, Oprah. Because you had to play the game that way. This is the opportunity that you have so that I don't have to play the game that way.
Yeah, and here's my thing with that. I still feel that Tyler Perry was the bystander in this situation, and it didn't really had nothing to do with him. Now, believe it if you want, if you feel like he should have stood up for her at some point, but he just didn't. And I think that I'm not trying to tell Monique how to feel or anything like what she should have did, but I'm just saying that it just didn't seem like, I don't know. Hold on, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. Because I did agree. Because no, let me tell you something. I did agree with Monique at one point in the beginning of her being blackballed. I was for her through the entire time. I never stood for what Lee Daniels did to her, and I definitely feel like he is the main antagonist in this. But I was always confused of how Tyler Perry was tied into this. Okay, he didn't speak up for you. I mean, is he the only one? You get what I'm saying? People didn't speak up. And I don't think Tyler Perry is obligated, to be honest. It just was weird to me. It was weird to me to see that happen during this situation. But I get it. Her and Janet went through the same thing. And maybe, hopefully, we'll get to a point where her and Lee Daniels have the conversation, the same reconciliation that Will and Janet had. But I just think, just putting out the receipts of the conversation that they had, it just, I don't know what that was supposed to do.
So for you say that Tyler Perry was a bystander. Tyler Perry was one of the producers of Precious, and he said that he would give her, he would send her the money earned by Precious, and he didn't. So he's not an innocent bystander. He wasn't just.
She didn't get paid for Precious.
She got paid. She got paid for Precious. You know how much. You know how much money?
I know it wasn't a lot.
Precious, right? So when she agreed to do Precious, even at that time, she took it it was almost considered a favor.
It was like $50,000
for what? I mean, and that's
nothing.
That's nothing.
That's nothing to Monique, yeah.
Right, because they didn't expect it. They didn't expect it to do what it did. But it was a very successful movie. They made hundreds of millions off of that movie.
Okay.
So you want this woman that you paid probably outside of Mariah Carey at that time, Monique is the A-list celebrity in this movie.
Right.
You gave her $50,000. That's the salary of a librarian for her to do this movie that went on to break box office records.
And you called her difficult because she didn't want to do the touring.
Because she didn't want to do the touring for free. You weren't. You didn't even. She wasn't obligated contractually to promote it.
Now, when it comes to actors and doing tours, they get paid for doing that?
You get paid for everything. If you want me to be flying here and there, yes, that needs to be part of my contract. Okay. If that's what you want me to do. And if that's not part of the contract now, then let's meet back at the table and let's.
Like I said, I always said Lee Daniels was the antagonist here because he is the head honcho when it comes to this situation.
He was the director.
I think that Tyler Perry didn't have the balls maybe to say, hey, this is wrong, and let me stand up for Monique.
So what is it that you don't understand why it's not just, I mean, she come after Lee and she probably gonna never let that up. But Tyler Perry is the one that said he was gonna send her the money that some of the money that was made by
no, he said that he was gonna apologize and vindicate her.
Tyler Perry.
She got paid for that movie.
You're not even listening to what I'm saying.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. In this particular situation between Monique and her issue with Tyler Perry for him not speaking up during the time it was happening, him not speaking up. Two, for him saying one thing and doing another, even if it wasn't just about the money, about him publicly apologizing or publicly speaking up for her to say that it's not true that she's difficult. This is what happened. They wanted her to promote this movie for free, and that's not fair. That's what she wanted him to say. Stand in it. If you agree, you didn't stop him from saying that. You didn't stop these rumors from this, you know. If you're not with me, you're against me. That's how that works. If someone says that I am difficult or says something negative about me that can affect me working other places, and you know it's not true, and you work together, and you decide to, well, I'm just, you know, you don't say nothing publicly. You see what's happening,
okay, but
then you kiki with me. You're like, well, yeah, that was wrong, blah blah. Like you. So why didn't you say something then, instead of sitting here and allowing people to demonize me?
Okay.
When you know it's not true and you're involved, why would you not say something? Exactly.
Okay.
So that's where Monique is coming from. All they asses can get it. And I love Oprah. I tell you, I don't let people bash Oprah on my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, none of that, because I love Mama Oprah and I'm so proud of what she's been able to do. But in this situation, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Okay.
And I feel like people have their opinions about how Monique should have gone about it. Wait till it's your turn. Wait until you put yourself out on the limb to basically do a favor for somebody, do something in good faith for someone, and then for them to ask you to do more than what you've already given, and because you said no or because you set a boundary, they demonize you for it. Wait until that happens to you, and then watch how you respond to it.
And what I'm saying is just some people are, and when I make these statements, it's not like I'm all for it, agree. I'm just saying what people are saying. Some people are just not strong enough to be that type of way. Now, if this was a situation with you, if people were saying that you were hard to work with, that you were difficult, whatever, you know, I will always be like, we do this show. We did 100 episodes.
He is kind of hard.
You know what I'm saying?
This would mean like, I am.
If he was difficult, you would have heard it from me first, exclusively.
And that's that.
Okay. But some people are not built like that, and we got to get at the real villains. And I still feel like Lee Daniels is a real key antagonist in this situation.
Well, not
because you just sat there and say, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna come for Oprah." I'm like, "Well, shit."
I didn't say I was gonna come for Oprah. I'm saying wrong.
The shit that Oprah did now.
Well, I mean, listen, there's no way nobody. There are no
talking
angels.
to her family and brothers and shit. You know,
that was kind of weird, but that was an extra step.
But yeah, I took that opportunity to come for Oprah. Shit,
she did at that moment. She did that. In any case, shout out to Lee Daniels for being for his award last night. Oh, so between the Young Jeezy battle, the Young Jeezy and Gucci battle,
right?
Native Sons had their awards last night on YouTube live, and I think it was aired on Instagram or Facebook as well. I was flipping between that, and I think he and Billy Porter was nominated, or he was awarded last night, recognized. And that's an award show or like a community for Black queer culture, Black queer men. And so that was really nice last night. And I got a chance to, I was watching Lee Daniels speak and accept his award. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn it, gay Black man, go make it right with that Black woman.
Exactly. Make it right.
Please.
I mean, I don't think there's anything else they can do. I mean, like the years that was
apologize.
Wasted.
All she's really been asking for at this point, it's like apologize.
Yeah, because she good. I mean, she living life. She got her husband. You know, she did a comedy show with Showtime, the streaming platform on Showtime. I seen like little clips of it. Yeah, I think that she's doing fine. But it would just, for me, if I was Monique, I wouldn't like it's smoke every day. Like every time I see you, it's on site. You get what I'm saying? Because let me tell you something. I got a fucking Oscar because of you, and I ain't never really get to another movie that was like, because you know, once you get an Oscar, I was always taught once you get an Oscar that you're set. Like you gonna be in boatloads of movies. People gonna offer you stuff. Probably ain't even got to audition no more. I don't know about that, but just you're set. but she got her Oscar, and it ended. Like she did another movie. It was like a little holiday movie.
Mm-hmm. It was funny.
She was doing little shows here and there, and then she had the Netflix deal, which they lowballed her because of you initially calling her difficult. And that just goes back to Janet, or that just goes back to Will. People don't really understand how, and people don't do their history. When you think about actors like Eartha Kitt, who was like, I want to say that she was like one of the first, well, it was probably many more black actresses that got blackballed for the littlest things back in the day in early film. But she got blackballed, because of something that she said that wasn't.
Yeah, the comments that she made about the
it was
Vietnam
about
War.
the Vietnam War.
She said it's a sadistic nymphomaniac.
Mm-hmm. And from that, nobody wanted to work with her. Nobody, and she was labeled a communist or some shit.
A sadistic nymphomaniac by the CIA.
Yeah,
what they said.
So see, that's getting blackballed by the government. Kathy Griffin can relate to that, but it's people don't do their history, and I think that I feel for Monique. I was one of the ones I was arguing with my mom tooth and nail because my mom would sit there and say, "Oh, I feel like Monique is she doing too much. She doing too much." I'm like, no. I mean, when she was coming for Lee Daniels and all the stuff that was coming out, because this ain't Lee Daniels' first rodeo and pissing somebody off, because he done pissed off Dame Dash or whatever, and probably a couple of other people as well. And at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, I'm listening to what the people are saying, and I'm listening to what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, I just felt like it was off-putting to see it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to take the moment away from this situation. You get what I'm saying? The situation with Will and Janet. But
well, I don't think it will. I just think that it just served as an example to kind of reinforce the fact that if he can do it, why can't you? Mm-hmm. And it's going to take 30 years. Does it have to take 30 years before people do what's right?
The girls like to hold grudges, child.
Right. So
when I mean the girls, I don't mean like, I'm not talking about Monique. I'm the girls. Yeah.